I want to say this, and I don't necessarily have a take per se, but I thought it was worth acknowledging, and potentially discussing, or at minimum celebrating progress and potentially a path forward. So he's undergoing treatment for his mental health and his back, according to Allie LaForce. And that Doc Rivers told her that Simmons really broke the ice when he spoke to his teammates on Friday, and Doc called it a huge moment for the team. So he is getting professional help for his mental health and treatment on his back. And I guess it stuck out to me, man, because I just wanted to say, like, just for the record, I just want you to know. I want you to know, Michael, like, I am not rooting for this dude to fail. I have taken no joy, no pleasure in watching the professional struggles of such a talented player, such a gifted player, a really good player, an accomplished player. Like, this conversation hasn't been fun. It's made for incredible conversation, incredible if you're not Ben Simmons, that is. It's made for lots of conversation. It's made for lots of fodder. It's made for lots of debate. It has been a talk show's dream come true, selfishly speaking.
Right.
But on a personal level, I want nothing more than to see, against all odds. You know, we often have fun with each other about wanting you to be wrong, wanting me to be wrong, and wanting to say I told you so.
Yeah.
I have never wanted to say I told you so more than for Ben Simmons to suit up for the 76ers. I know you think he's played his last game there, or is not long for this world. I want nothing more than for him to suit up for the 76ers and to be the best version of himself. I would love to have to eat my words about what he is or isn't, because there's nothing for me to gain from Ben Simmons being shipped out of town, never to be heard from again. I think the Sixers are correct in their stance that they're better with Ben Simmons. I think we saw some of that last night. We've seen some of that this season.
Yeah.
He needs to be better.
All right.
For them to be the best that they can be. All I want to say is, I'm happy to hear that there may be a flicker of light at the end of the tunnel for him, whether it's in Philly or elsewhere. But I want the dude to get his act together. I want him to get his mind right. I don't want him to be some tragic story of somebody who could never recover from his failures. You know, I'm rooting for him. I can still hold him accountable. I can still keep it a buck about his role in this situation, about his shortcomings. You understand what I'm saying? About his fault. I can still keep it a buck.
Yeah, I got you.
And still want to see a happy ending.
Yeah. All right. So, Mike, as you know, I'm just jotting some things down here. I'm writing some things down just so I can get a handle on it. And as you know, that in my newspaper days, I was not the quickest on deadline. Is that fair to say? Deadline. Yeah. Okay.
You once missed deadline from Australia. You missed deadline from Australia. That's
why
never
that's
been
significant,
done.
boys and girls. Why that's significant? I had about a 12-hour head start. I was writing about an Olympic swimmer. Do I remember the Olympic swimmer's name? No, I don't. That makes it even worse. I just one more thing. I got to get this right. Anyway, so I'm not begging to go back to my newspaper days. I love some aspects of working for newspapers. Deadlines, I always want to get a little bit more. I always felt like it could be just a little bit better. I say that to say this. If I were working for the Philadelphia Inquirer right now, or working for The Athletic in Philadelphia, man, I would say I got a lot of work to do. Because, Mike, I don't mind telling you, this story confuses me. I'm confused by where we are with Ben Simmons. Now, I'm not confused by athletes or anybody else saying, I've got to work on my mental health. Okay.
But both you and
I need therapy.
Both you and I the other day, both of us, not just you, both of us on Monday expressed skepticism as to whether this was a convenient excuse not to play.
And maybe I don't need to be skeptical. I got questions, though. I got questions. Because I'm saying, look, and I just wrote this down, if Ben Simmons, if mental health were an issue or mental health is an issue, then why is Daryl Morey going on the radio talking about, hey, buckle in, it could take 4 years? That was combative. That's not necessarily nurturing. Why did Doc Rivers make the rounds for his podcast talking about Ben? And why did he get into it with Rich Paul talking about Ben? It was really combative. Why did Joel Embiid say what he said? Or is it just simple? Am I overthinking it? And that once they have the conversation with Ben Simmons, that stops. So, in other words, are the leaks going to stop? Are they going to stop on both sides? The leaks coming from Simmons' side on how he wants to go somewhere else. He doesn't want to play with Embiid because that crops his style, a little bit. That
so
just kind of gets in the way of his
the
style.
questions you're asking come from a place
What
of
happened?
if it's a
What the hell
legitimate
happened?
if it's a legitimate issue, if it's a legitimate issue, why were they behaving this way? I guess my answer to that, Michael, would be maybe even Ben Simmons. Let's go ahead and operate from a place of he really is struggling with his mental health. And again, if we're going to be compassionate about it, exactly. Because it certainly seemed like it in his play during the playoffs that his problem was between the ears.
Right.
And given what's happened since then, it's not a stretch. I just think he's avoided accountability for his performance for far too long and doesn't know how to handle hard truths. Way too many people struggle with actual criticism, even though that criticism may be based in fact. But anyway, I don't want to get off track. Maybe even Ben Simmons is my point. Maybe even he is just arriving at the conclusion that something's wrong with it from a mental health standpoint. Again, if it's a legitimate issue and they're treating it as such, maybe he is just arriving at the conclusion because he never had to do any kind of self-examination because he always thought that the way he was going about it would get him traded. But now if he's actually confronted with the reality of playing in Philadelphia again, which we said as a throwaway, when they were throwing things on the court after Game 7, as a throwaway, we said, oh, he can never play there again. And many people said, oh, he can never play there again. Well, if that's a reality and not just, something to just say in passing, then that does take some sort of mental health and emotional support to play there again. It's easy for me to sit here and say, and again, I've always tried to be fair. It's easy for me to sit up here and say, yo, man up, man, that's the job. And I still feel that way. I still feel that way. I still feel like if you're going to play professional basketball, you got to play professional basketball. The only way through is through. The only way is through. You got to go through it to get to it. Like, eventually he's going to have to face that crowd. Eventually he's going to have to face those demons. But in the meantime, in between time, if this is what it takes to get to that point, I'm all for it, because no matter how critical I've been of the kid, and constructively critical, if I may say so myself, I still want him to succeed.
Is it as simple as this, Mike? Is it as simple as they all felt that way about Ben Simmons? Doc Rivers was mad, Daryl Morey was mad, Joel Embiid was mad, teammates were mad, felt disrespected, media. Remember that clip in Philadelphia? Hey, we're going to go to report. Here's Ben Simmons getting out of town, and the rushing waters and the whole thing. Like, everybody had something to say about Ben Simmons. We had stuff to say about Ben Simmons. It's as simple as this. He had a conversation with the team for the first time. He addressed them all, and lights went off for everybody. Like, everybody, I just imagine everybody went, oh, okay. That's where you are? That's what's up?
Yeah.
Okay, we didn't know that. And I guess the story is, what was that thing? Now, I know we're not supposed to ask those questions, and this is why people don't like the media, but It's the life I chose. This is who I am. Sorry, I'm built this way. This is how I'm built. As KG once said, this is how I'm built. Sorry. I'm wired this way, Big John. This is how I'm built. I want to know what happened. What was in that meeting? That was a very important meeting between Ben Simmons and his current teammates. What was said? Because whatever was said there sent him to on a path. I'm hopeful, a better path, and it calmed everybody down. I haven't heard it. I don't know about you, Mike. Haven't seen a single leak about, hey, Ben Simmons wants this. I haven't heard anything from Clutch Sports, nothing from Simmons, nothing from Morey, nothing from Embiid, nothing from Doc. That conversation changed everything.
Yeah.
I wonder what it was.
Yeah. They seem to be on the path to reconciliation when we once thought those were irreconcilable differences.
Yeah.
Speaking of differences, as we go to break. As we go to break, real quick, don't think you could just jump on that Sixers bandwagon, or excuse me, on that Golden State Warriors bandwagon. Because I didn't want to have to pull the receipts about the conversation. Once upon a time, I said, oh, maybe their dynasty was just interrupted. You were like, no, they're done. They'll never compete for championships again. Oh, yeah, you remember that conversation? I do. I do. Don't think you slick and got to backdoor your way into this Warriors. The Warriors might be. Oh, no.
I actually forgot about that. That's right. I said they're done. I did.